the spur of the moment, thought I'd get on here. Don't know that I'll stay on here very long. We'll see what happens. This is Lou. I've been sewing on a quilt or doing a quilt top. There's a lot of things that go into that, but it's going to be pretty. Or maybe I shouldn't say pretty, it's going to be handsome. I'm making it for my grandson. And it is going to look really sharp before I'm done, but I'm doing it different. I showed you one that I was doing for my other grandson, Tyler, but I want to do a different one for him. I'm not really thrilled with that one, although I did have some compliments. Thank you very much. Um, I've been doing a diversity, diverse topics, and I haven't been doing lives because I do get distracted easily. Anyway, I thought, I was thinking I'd do a video. I'm just going to do a video. Then I thought, well, maybe I'll get on there and do a live for a minute. Say hi to everybody, see who's here. And I know it's a shock because I don't do lives anymore. I just tried it out. But I do get distracted and I'm not sure what I'm doing. I have been reading some scriptures lately, only a little lately because I got carried away with quilting. Which, was good. It was good to get distracted from the scriptures, too. Nevertheless, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm making quilt tops. I think that is the easiest thing to do. I mean, you still have to cut up the squares and get it all organized and stuff, but you can put a quilt top together so much better, so much faster than Quilt As You Go. Now, Quilt As You Go is really great. I was happy about the fact that I could do it myself and as I go. But as you go, the quilt gets heavy. I mean, it's not all that heavy, but to constantly having to move it around gets heavy on the shoulder. And then I bought a walking foot. I'd never used one of those, and I put one on, and I was sewing today, and I was able to go for a little while, but then um, it became unadjusted. Anyway, my needle hit it. Error, error. Not cool. Anyway, I was glad that I was able to find the pressure foot that I took off of it and put it back on, and that it works, because it could have broke my needle, or it could have dulled it, bent it, but so far it's working. So I was really happy about that. Nothing like getting your momentum going and something stops you. You've been waiting. Maybe I took a break is what I did. I took a break and then I decided it was time to get back after it. And I had materials already cut for Kevin's. They have different colors, His is the royal blue, baby blue. And then I asked for more colors. That was the first two he gave me. And I asked for more, and he gave me um, black and gray. But they were his second choice out of a pair. I love royal blue. And that blue that I'm using with it is, I got it from Walmart. I'm not sure exactly the brand it was, but it was called Cobalt. It wasn't called baby blue, although what he had said is he wanted royal blue, baby blue. But I also had to take from material available and material available at a price that I could afford. And I was making 6 quilts. And I mean, and not knowing what I'm doing, flying by the seat of my pants. But I tell you, it is a lot easier to put the quilt top together and then attach. I haven't done that part yet. I have to attach the backing and the batting Either that or I just, but I want to finish the quilts, especially for my grandkids. They'll be done. But I do like the machine quilting. I can't do the needle and thread. Just fingers are not going to let me do that. But nevertheless, this machine that I've got is called a Project Runway limited edition. It's got 99 stitches, but I haven't taken the time to try to figure them out. I do believe I have the book that goes with it. I just have to take the time to endeavor. Like I've been telling you guys with the scriptures, it takes endeavoring, it takes caring, or otherwise you're not going to do it, right? But there's a way for you to learn without it being so astronomical hard. I don't know how to say my right words, but to gain a lot of knowledge is going to take some time. But see, you can learn in these classes. That's what they do at church on Sunday. There's a class every Sunday. There's all kinds of things, but the point is to help you to learn from the scriptures. There's help. There's all kinds of help these days. It's wonderful. So anyway, probably should just be a little short live. I figure people should be in bed asleep. So the thing about a live is it'll still be here later. There just won't be any questions and answers, and I don't know how to do that anyway. So I hope it said I was live, so I'm just going to act like I am. So I was telling on a video earlier that the Joseph Smith story, his story, is in the Pearl of Great Price. Is a longer version because there is a version in the Book of Mormon, but I'm not exactly sure. Maybe that's what I should look up. I've got here the Joseph Smith history that's in the Pearl of Great Price, but it's more than I want to conquer. As I have told my people in the past, I'm not the greatest reader, but we do need to endeavor. So I have a little bit of, I have foreknowledge of what's in the scriptures. But I haven't really read this one, I don't think. Or if I have. But see, I wanted to find out, okay, when did Moroni enter the picture is what I want to know. And I want to know how old Joseph Smith actually was when he was translating the plays. I know that he was older than 18 and a half. I don't know his age at the time, so I'm curious because the first vision was in 1820, and I'm just not sure when Moroni showed up to show Joseph Smith where the plates were, to tell him about the plates, to teach him. And then there were 4 years that Moroni visited Joseph Smith before Joseph Smith was allowed to get those plates. Very, very, very important stuff. So his story is right here, and it's very interesting. I would think that you'd find it very interesting. And you can have it read to you. If you just wanted to have the app on your phone or your whatever device, and you can have these things read to you. And this is in the Pearl of Great Price. So it's a longer version of what happened to Joseph Smith, I believe. And I wanted to find out some more stuff. There's so much great stuff, you people. You can't get it all together. You have to line upon line, precept upon precept. I mean, you have to learn a little and then learn a little bit more before things will really click. And sometimes you people are already prepared with all that knowledge, and then they just sink together, and you know. So, I don't know how to do the live thing. And I can't see all that well, even with my glasses, because what did I do? I put castor oil in my eyes just a little bit ago. So I'm not going to be able to read very well. I just have to laugh at myself sometimes, you know. But it is nice to get back to quilting, and it is a lot nicer than to have to pick up and pick up and pick up this heavy quilt. Because as you go, and you're adding the batting and the backing and everything, as you go, it gets heavy, and it doesn't want to move through the machine all that well. I mean, my machine will do it, but you still got to grab. That walking foot kind of grabs the material a little more. But anyway, I got a song in my head, and it hasn't got anything to do with all this. I got all I need. Do, 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 do. It's from Pitch Perfect. Anyway, there's that song in my head. Okay. It does say I've got all I need or something like that. So I got distracted. It says, welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your privacy, learn more. I think that everybody's asleep. And I think I'll take off my glasses for a little bit and just talk for a second or two. I don't know what I'm doing out here on this electronics, but you know, I'm trying. And I did go over and start an account or a page, whatever you call it, with TikTok, but I don't know what I'm doing over there. And I wasn't doing it to I need to say my words right. My purpose, I have a strange purpose, I guess. My purpose is to spread the Book of Mormon, to let you people know what it is, to know how important it is. But I'm not out there trying to like socialize with a lot of people, although that is what I need to do. It's just that not looking for a boyfriend, not looking to cross any lines, and it makes it a little strange for all these persons to want to talk to you. And I want to, but I also don't want to enter any dangerous territories. Talking about missionary work would be just super wonderful. And I figure, I mean, I've done a lot of videos, and I've put out a lot of what I believe in, I think, and I just know that there's also controversy, and I don't need it. I figure if people can let in what I say, just let it in and see how it resonates. Yeah, she's right. That's how it should be, okay? But, you know, whatever. Everybody has their own opinion. I just love to share mine. And I've always been able to see where there's a problem, how you can fix it if someone would just listen to me. But that's just not always how it is. And I can see that I might need to put on my glasses. There might be something down there. I've got a light behind me. Okay, it says, "Hi, Lou. How are you doing, my friend?" I'm doing great. Okay, are you the young woman there in Florida? My friend from Florida. What was your name? I know your name. Margaret. Is this Margaret? Anyway, that's exciting. Someone said hi. I'm just rambling on. That's how I are. All right, hi. Well, I'm glad. I thought I would just get on here and see if any of my people would, actually be up this late. That's when we get the best things done, right? No, I should be in bed asleep. And I just haven't been able to do that, especially lately for some reason. Nevertheless, it's really cold out here. We had, they were expecting a foot of snow last week, but I don't think we got a foot. But we did get a bunch. And luckily I haven't had to go out in it. I went out in it once. My daughter has that pool league thing on Tuesday nights, and I went out with her, and it was icy. She was real, what's the word I want to use? Attentive. She wanted to make sure I had a hand to hold on to so I didn't fall. Or if I fell, I took her with me. But no, it wasn't too bad. We didn't fall. Nevertheless, I don't like to go out in the icy conditions at all. I'm a baby. I like to stay home. So, anyway, I'm glad that you're up. She says, I am always up late. Okay. Yeah, me too. I mean, I need to try to go to bed early because I do have a clock, but I had a clock waking me up, but I wake up and then I go back to sleep because normally I'm taking melatonin to go with it, and that makes you groggy waking up. But I don't think I took it last night, and I still got extra sleep. Went to bed late, but I woke up around 6:30 or so, and then went back to bed, went right back to sleep for another good long time. So I think my body needs it. I went without sleep the other night. Something something was going on that had me awake all night long. Sometimes we got to think about stuff, even if we don't want to. It's the way it is. My eyeballs are just sucky right now. Okay, it says, I bet the snow was terrible. Yeah, but I didn't go out in it. I mean, and you can't park but on one side of the road. In answer to your question, I don't know, but I think pretty good. I'm going to be going in for some scans March 24th. I'm going to go in and have 2 different bone scans done, and then I will be seeing the doctor after that. I saw her not very long ago. We are watching those tumor marker numbers. I was calling them cancer marker numbers, but she said tumor marker, same thing, I guess. My numbers are down to 120 and 137, whereas a year and a half to 2 years ago, they were at 1400. So I'm thinking that's doing really pretty good. I sure hope that it continues to do good, and I hope that I want to stop the treatments, but they make it to where you just don't know if you want to do that. I haven't had bad side effects that I know of. I had a little bit here and there. I need to remember to stay hydrated. I don't drink as much liquid as I should. You're so far away and my eyes are blurry. I will be praying for forgiveness. Why? What do you mean? Okay, then she said not forgiveness. I'm going to say, what do you mean? Anyway, praying for me. Thank you very much. I know that's what you mean. I think things are going good. I'm feeling pretty good, and the cancer marker numbers are way down. And I took the ivermectin. Surely you remember. I mean, you've been checking in on me here and there, right? So ivermectin. I did the treatments that I'm doing is like a hormone therapy. One IV situation is for building up my bones. That's Zolmeta. And then I get shots every 28 days in my buttocks. Those are big needles. It's one shot, but it's too much medicine for one needle. So it's two needles. And I take a pill every day. So the pill every day is letrozole. It's supposed to stop you from producing your hormones. And then those shots, is supposed to degrade the receptors of the hormones. So they're from both ends. They're trying to do something, and so I'm doing that plus the ivermectin. Now I haven't done any ivermectin in a while because I really went overboard. I found it at the feed store, a liquid that's injectable, which I just would draw it up and then put it in my coffee. But I took it at least 14 days in a row, and I shouldn't have done that because one dose is enough for 6 months to a year for deworming, for worming a horse or whatever, cow, swine. They give it to them by body weight, and you inject it. But I didn't inject it. It went into my coffee. But I really think that it made a difference. I can't say that it was everything, but it almost seems to me from different experiences I've had, parasites are the cause of a lot of things. And if we can get rid of the parasites, we'd be healthy. I don't know. I can't say that for a fact. I can just say what I think. Anyway, it says, what is it? That's great. They are trying to balance your hormones. No, they're trying to strip me of my hormones because my cancer wants the hormones. So they're not balancing. They want to get rid of them. They want to turn me into a prune. You know what I mean? Dry up because you don't have your female hormones. But no, there is, it's either fight the cancer or but then you could stop maybe, not continue. Anyway, I've been doing these treatments for a couple of years, I think. And it's definitely working. But I told my doctor, she said, and it's working. And I said, and yes, and I'm taking ivermectin too. I had asked her for a prescription for ivermectin in the past. And she told me if I had heartworm to let her know, she'd get me a prescription. But that she couldn't really give me a prescription because she's a cancer doctor. Well, excuse me. There is some evidence to the contrary. Why can't a doctor not give you a prescription? I gotta wait till I have heartworm. I told her I didn't think that was very funny. I didn't. I told her what she had said in the past because I did ask her for a prescription. Margaret, go to the feed store. A feed store that takes care of large animals, and they do have them everywhere. Okay, like Tractor Supply. I went to Tractor Supply, and I down the row where they have things to take care of the animals. So first I was taking the ivermectin in a paste. I'll get it, show it to you. Okay, I'm back. Okay, first I took it this way. This is a paste, and it's in a syringe. And it's for a 1,250-pound horse. So one of my friends, her boyfriend, said, well, just act like you're 120 pounds and take 1/10 of the syringe. Well, here's a syringe. This has a gel in it. And as this goes down and down and down, see, there's not a whole lot left in here. There's like 3 or 4 doses, depending on how much you want to do. And it's a gel. And you just put it in your mouth. And I got this, I think it was a Tractor Supply. Anyway, it's in this box. But it says the word ivermectin across there. So you go down the row that has the medicine for the big animals. Worming. Okay, so then there's what I did next. Was this. Okay, this is what the box looks like. I don't know if you can see it very well. But you might have to ask someone for this part. I got a big old bottle. $250 milliliters, okay? And my dose is a mil, maybe a little bit more than a mil. And what I was doing was 1.5 mils, but it really should have been a mil. And then normally, like I said, if you're worming a horse or cow or whatever, it's once every 6 months or every year. So I did go overboard. And then I had some syringes from, I think, when my mother was having to take some stuff by shots. And so it's a rubber topper. You just stick the syringe in there, tip it over, and draw out what you need, and then put it in your coffee or put it in your soda pop. But don't do what I did. I would do it just one day, and then maybe the next week do it again. And then the next week, give it a space, or maybe even once every 2 weeks, depending on if you're doing preventative or if you have cancer and you're at a stage where you need to get busy. I mean, you want to really fight this disease, kill them damn worms. Okay, let me tell you again about this, all right? I was just trying to remember. There's a bottle the size of 50 milliliters. Anyway, 50 milliliters for about $50. And then for $85, I was able to get 200 extra mils. So of course I did. So I could be like sharing this with some people. But my cousin takes it just every so often because she eats things that can produce worms, parasites, like sushi, raw fish. But anyway, she says she takes it every once in a while just because of that. Or if she has a virus, she takes it. But I definitely, I know I took it too much, but I'm okay. I'm all right. Nobody worry about me. No, I think I do believe in miracles, and I hope and pray that I got mine. And if you're dealing with that, Margaret, I'm sorry, but definitely get after it. It doesn't, I, I was going to say it doesn't have any ill effects, but it does. Because after a while, I started pooping out something that wasn't poop. And I didn't know if it was worms or what the heck was going on. And so I definitely, and my ex-husband said he thought it, not thought, but he said you could have hurt your mucus lining. There's a lining to your intestinal tract. And so I went overboard, and I got to thinking one day, I don't want this to think that I'm a big worm, and then kill me. But no, I haven't had any. I mean, it took quite a while, actually. It seemed like I was having that same side effect thing for about a month. So I was getting a little nervous. But no, I'm doing good. Okay, so what do you say there? It doesn't hurt you. Yeah, they said in 1996 that the FDA approved it for human consumption, but yet, and I did a live once before. One of my lives, there was a young man who had leukemia or has leukemia, but he's in Canada. He's only 20 years old. And his doctor gave him a prescription for ivermectin, but of course he's not in America. You know what I'm saying? So just look after your animals, and you're one of them. You have to bypass some things. I mean, that was the second cancer doctor that I had asked. I asked a different one, and I said, what do you think about ivermectin? And she said, I don't have anything bad to say about it, but I cannot give you a prescription for it because I'm a cancer doctor. And I'm going, give me a break, you people. Make things hard for us. Because what I did was I went into Walmart, because I didn't know. I went into Walmart and talked to the pharmacist. Where can I get some ivermectin? He said, you got a prescription? I said, no. And he says, well, then you can't have any. I'm going, really? So I'll get off that subject. But that is where you do it. Go, if nothing else, get that paste. They call it a paste. It's a gel. And it's really not bad. So you just take the dose, put it on your finger, put it on your tongue, and swirl it around. It doesn't really have, it says it has an apple flavor, but it doesn't really have a flavor. Yes. I think when you're at a certain point, you're going to try whatever. You know what I'm saying? Well, we don't know if that's safe to use. Well, what is my alternative? It's to die. So excuse me, I think I'll try. But no, 1996, they did so approve it. And I think that it's not a bad idea. I don't think it's going to go bad, actually. But the 50 ml bottle would have probably been the better thing for me to do. Instead of spending $85, I could have gotten all I needed for $50. Anyway, so just give it a try. I don't know that this might not be on the shelf. Like I said, it might be behind a lock. But you ask about it. This other thing, I think this was about $8. $8 to $10 for a dose for a 1,250-pound horse. And really, some people, it's a matter of getting rid of the worms. Well, thank you. And I do love to laugh, too. Laughter is good medicine. Mary Lou's hee-haw. hee ha 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 hee haw. Remember that show? Anyway, I'm just really grateful that I was able to find it. My cousin had told me about it. I told that story before. I don't know that. What? It might still be in my post. There was a dog, a white dog, a Shar-Pei, in my post that started having something growing out of its chest. And it was red, pink, whatever, and then it just got really huge. The thing that grew out of its chest. And my cousin gave it fenbendazole, which is a wormer. Gave it fenbendazole and turmeric, or turmeric, I don't know how you pronounce it. And those two together for 30 days straight. And that big old cancer thing shriveled up, and they cut it off, and that dog is 12 years old, running around like it's 2 years old. So yeah, did it good. Did it real good. So I just bought the ivermectin, so I didn't buy the fenbendazole, but they do the same thing. So I was just telling myself, okay, you already just spent your wad on something that's the same. However, and I did get some turmeric, but I didn't keep taking that. I probably should. But nevertheless, I had a cancer scare years ago, and I love that show too. Anyway, I talked to my grandmother, and she hooked me up with this guy, and he was 70 years old at the time, and he had been fighting cancer since he was 20. I mean, he had won several times, so he must have had some type come back. But his answer was to do a detox and kill parasites. That was his answer. Cool. Yeah, that dog, she had a video about it running around crazy like he was a 2-year-old. She was a 2-year-old because she was a mama even. A white Shar-Pei. Anyway, yes. It just gives me hope, a lot of different things, because like I said, the guy, he was 70 years old, and the first time diagnosed with cancer was at 20. So that's 50 years he lived. And my grandmother Smith, I trusted her real well. She was into vitamins and things, and then she's the one that told me, because I told her what was going on, and she told me to call him and see what he thought. And I did. I did do a big cleanse. I don't suggest really doing that if you're a newlywed. That was so fun. It wasn't funny. It's funny looking back, because I didn't realize the whole situation there, but you're going to be trying to get worms out of you. And so you're going to need the toilet quite a bit. And I did see them things in the toilet. They weren't squiggly worms. They were like a butterbean skin. If you ever take dry butter beans and soak them and stuff, and then sometimes the skin will come off that meat. Well, that's what was in the toilet. It looked like butterbean skins with maybe, I don't know if it had something you could see as far as, like a butterfly would be, but not that big. I'm just saying some type of little something that shows that it was something like an organism. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Anyway, point is, I only had one toilet, and that was me and my husband, both of them. He did it with me, so there we are. It's the kind where you gotta be close to the toilet. And we hadn't been married all that long, so yeah. Don't know if you're to that level yet, where you're sharing such grossness. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what came out of him, but I know what came out of me. Meaning I could see the parasites in the toilet. So people don't think we have parasites, think again. They say there's all kinds of things up and down that intestinal tract. Yeah, it's one of those things that's funny when you look back. But anyway, I well, if you've seen what's going on my channel, then you've seen my little video about the quilt. I thought I did bring it in here. Okay, it's over there. Anyway, I've got all 13 of the rows, each block individually sewn in a row, 13. So then all I got to do is sew those 13 together. But I'm thinking I might need to make it bigger. Jessie was saying, see, hers is only 4 feet wide. She was saying tonight that it would be nice if it was a little bit bigger, wider. So I've already picked it up and already sewn it, but I can lay it down again and see if I can't add to that design, and I might can go ahead and add a row all the way around. What I've got is 13 tall and 9 wide. But I'm thinking maybe I should do 11 wide and 15 tall. And the reason for the odd number just works out good with the design. But I guess really I could still go 16. See, the ones that I did before, my daughter's, the squares were 6.5 inches. But with Kevin's, they are 6 inches. So you're always taking up part of the space all the way around. No, I don't crochet. Once upon a time I did, and my daughter does. Right now I've just been concentrating on making these quilts for my grandkids. And it's something I can do with sewing. And I was fascinated with the fact that you can quilt as you go. Still, it's neat if you're doing a smaller one, but it gets kind of heavy on me. My bones are not all that strong, and they seem to pop a little bit. But nevertheless, it's just a lot easier to sew this little teeny thing. I mean, very lightweight, but then we got to put it together. And I've got the quilt batting. And what I did was I went ahead and bought sheets. I found sheets on a clearance that were really nice sheets. The word luxury was in there, but for the same amount of money that I would have spent on regular material, maybe a little bit more, I got a really nice quality sheet for the back. And like I said, I've got the batting, and so I have to I have to put it together. And I still wouldn't mind if my machine, and I think my machine will, I think it will quilt. I know that it'll go up over material. I just was very disappointed. I bought that, and maybe it's something that can be adjusted. I just didn't know how to adjust it. And I wanted to keep sewing, so I took it off my machine. The walking foot. These glasses, I swear. Anyway, my family is doing good. They're doing really good. I have a grandson over in Poland. He's in the army. He's a medic. He's homesick. He misses his family. See, I just got these glasses and they're just weird. Okay, it's all been experimental. I do not know how long it takes. I know that doing the quilt as you go took a little while. It didn't. But like I said, as it gets bigger and bigger, it gets heavy, and I'm excited because now that I'm doing the quilt top, there's a way. Um, I guess I could tell you that. Let's see, what have you got down here? Okay, so like my sister, Nancy, at Christmas time, she holds up this quilt that she's just done. And she said that she got it done like lickety split. And I'm going, how did you do that? Well, what she did was she bought a quilt top and then she put the padding and the backing on it. And she made a frame out of PVC pipe, sections of PVC pipe, and then elbows that joined them together. And so you lean it up against the wall, and she used clamps. So she got all that stuff, I'm sure, at either Lowe's or Home Depot. But the clamps that you'll hold wood together sometimes when you've got glue and you're trying to get it to dry, or you're trying to hold a project steady when you're going to saw, or even if it's a circular saw. Let's see. Oh, really? Yeah, he does. He really misses the family. When he was home, he just was so sad when he left. It's like, wow. Yeah, she's very clever. Because I said, how did you do that? Because I'm sitting here struggling, taking forever, and she's like doing it in a weekend. And what it was for her granddaughter, a baby. So it wasn't humongous. But she told me her secret was she bought a quilt top and then got the batting and the backing, and then she had just done just 4 pieces of PVC pipe and then 4 elbows, and then I imagine whatever clamps, because I don't know how wide and stuff. I think her frame was wider than her quilt, so it could have just been clamped at the top and the bottom. And then I've seen some people, they are basting with safety pins. Just get a big safety pin instead of, because if I could get it to all stay in place and not move and stuff, I could just go ahead and sew it. In fact, I could sew the sides of it together and turn it inside out like you do a big old pillow, and then not even worry about binding it. That's a good idea. And so then what? And then okay, so you got it all stretched out where you can go ahead and go sew it like a pillow and turn it inside out, and then get the top stitching done around the edge, and then you can put it on that frame that she made with the clamps, and then you can, what they're doing, I guess, is doing where they do the yarn. They go through a corner and come up and tie a knot in yarn. I don't really like that. And then someone else was telling me that you could use embroidery thread. You know how you buy embroidery thread, and then you could stitch that in and do a nice little knot. You have a lot smaller knot. So it just depends on what you want to do. And there's so many, I learned so many neat ways to do smaller quilts. Cozy. They're using like flannel. Thank you. It helps them to participate, don't you think? I would think it would be something that, yay, we participated in this project and we got her done. And I asked for their favorite colors, but really I've just been trying experimental stuff all this little time. But it is true. I mean, and it's a lot easier to sew that quilt top. But what I was just saying, I did I'll have to lay it all out and see how the sheet works up with it. But I could do that. I could act like it's a pillow sham or a pillowcase. I'm definitely wanting to leave them something that they want. that they love, that they can say, Grandma made this for me. But, you know, I think it's more what I want than what they want. They might appreciate it more a little bit later down the road. But Kevin's been proactive. I told him, all right. I mean, I put the videos on there, they're little shorts. And he chose baby blue. I don't know about these glasses. I have to figure that out. Have to get used to it. Well, listen, people, how long have I been on here? Almost an hour. My goodness. I am. Maybe I did some good with the ivermectin, so you make sure you try that. And no, I don't. I mean, people are out there eating raw fish and pork and different things that maybe didn't get cooked good enough, or I don't know what all causes parasites, but good idea to get rid of them. And here was another story I'll tell you real quick, and then I'll probably get off here. I need to go to bed. I had watched a video. It was a veterinarian talking, and he was saying that he had treated these dogs with this wormer. See, me and my brother raised German Shepherds. My brother raised them a lot longer. And this wormer that we're talking about, the ivermectin, is a lot better wormer for the puppies. I mean, it's good for puppies and mothers and animals, period, and human beings. We're animals too, you know. Well, thank you. I think maybe I will, especially late at night. Everybody's in bed. So, well, you take care, Margaret. I do think I need to get going. I have a hard time going to bed, but I got those 13 rows done. I feel good about that. We'll just see what happens after that. And I'll share. Take care. Peace out, you people. Now, how do I get out of here? I'm going to go up here. Are you sure you want to stop streaming?